Okay. Our advertising strategy would mostly include continuing our already established television and internet media outlets that are established in the Brazil's media, and television outlet reaches over, our television channels, including ABC Networks and Disney Channel, reach over 50 million viewers each year, and many of their ads and shows are directed at children and obviously people young at heart, like we were saying before. We would expand this brand strategy or advertising strategy through newspapers, magazines, and any local restaurant chains that we would probably be in a joint venture partnership with. Also, one of the other big features for advertising, since Brazil uses or likes to integrate their local culture, would be promoting festivals and events that would be incorporated into the theme park to attract more people to attract more people to the theme park because of its local interests. Other promotions would include off-seasonal discount rates, which is something that Disney typically likes to do in order to keep up park admission numbers. They also do special occasion packages like national holidays and birthdays and anniversaries, where if people come during these special events, they're able to get a reduced rate on their lodging, transportation, and park admissions fees. As far as participating in the local community, Disney likes to take part in helping out people who aren't necessarily able to afford the luxury services that it has to offer. So Disney Brazil Resort would provide a merit-based program where children from lower economic classes would be able to come and enter the park for free based on the fact that they would have a higher grade point average or do well on their academic achievements. Another way we've also decided to include promotion is through the local Disney cruise line, which right now runs through Mexico and the Caribbean, and we would promote a new feature possibly going to Brazil's beach areas so that they would be able to travel to the park also.
Now, in conclusion, as you can see, a joint venture is completely justified given that obtaining a local partner is basically the only way to go. And from us here at Disney, we thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we have time for a few questions from the audience. Or you? No, you do. Sorry. Okay, venture capitalists, please, go ahead.
In your SWOT analysis, one of your weaknesses was that there was projected lower theme park attendance and that customers have been dissatisfied in both Hong Kong and Paris. Do you think that your funds may be better spent helping your current locations instead of opening a new one?
I can answer that one. Regarding the two parks that you mentioned, Hong Kong and Paris, those were initial problems that we were having. Paris, when they first opened, they did not reach their projected targets within the first year, but now they're operating well beyond what they had projected in terms of attendance. And same with Hong Kong, they had initial problems, but all of that has been solved and fixed now. So we feel that we'd be able to move on to our next location, which would be Brazil. Anybody? Go ahead.
Okay, I guess I was trying to Alright, I actually lived in Brazil when we attempted this the first time, and one of the key things you mentioned briefly, though, in your marketing plan that I think wasn't in the SWOT, and I would like to have heard more about, was specifically how you plan on dealing with chronic insecurity. One of the biggest problems they had with this plan was how to get people from the airport and the hotels to the park safely, and also how to operate the parks without becoming all-inclusive resorts in order to contain the parks and keep them as secure and safe institutions. how would you do that, in particular with these parks, given that a lot of Brazilians tend to go to Florida as a way of staying secure themselves because they like to go to places where they feel more secure and can kind of get back and relax?
Well, from the security standpoint, like we had mentioned, there are going to be shuttle services to and from airports and major metro stations. Also, one of the main things of theme parks and of Disney theme parks in general is to have all of your patrons sort of escape from their daily lives. And when you walk in through the gates, you're like, oh, I don't have any problems here. So therefore, yes, crime has been an issue in the past there. What we would do in order to combat this would be to partner up with our joint venture partner in order to see what they would recommend for such a situation, because it's not a market that we have entered before and it's not really a situation that we've encountered.
Also adding on to that, since 2006, crime rates, specifically in the city of Sao Paulo, have decreased by 12%. So obviously they're doing something to tackle their crime problem, and obviously that would make our theme park more attractive, especially since it's going to be in that surrounding area.
I guess Brazil is different from most Latin American countries in that their main language is Portuguese. And you stated in your report that all employees will have to speak at least two languages, either Spanish, Portuguese, or Portuguese and English, or any of those combinations. I was wondering what type of, I guess, hiring process you guys are going to use in order to find, thousands of employees that are all going to speak these two languages.
Well, the education system in Brazil is mandatory that people have to learn Spanish and Portuguese, obviously since Portuguese is their native language. So they'll already have this background of speaking Spanish, and if their language capabilities aren't up to the level of fluency that we would need to actually open the theme park, then they could have extra training sessions for basic word usage or things that they might not necessarily have down pat for when tourists would actually come. But the majority of the people that live in Brazil have a really well-established knowledge of the Spanish language, so we don't foresee that being a huge issue.
One more question.
Mine's kind of like just off of what you were saying. So wait, then are like signs and stuff like that, are they going to be in Portuguese, Spanish, English?
Both.
So all three?
Well, mostly Portuguese and Spanish, because that's like where.
What's going to be your main focus language?
I guess both.
Okay, just to go with the standardized approach, all Disney parks have English signs. Because we will be operating in Brazil, we will clearly have Portuguese, and we will have Spanish as well. That will not be an issue because they've used 3 languages before in Tokyo. They have 3 languages in Paris, so we can adapt the same approach there.
Okay, Alex, do you want the last question?
You say that Brazil sends like the third most number of people to Disney World in Florida, correct? Are you concerned with cannibalizing some of your, people like going to Florida instead? They're just going to stay in Brazil, or people saying, we'd rather take the big vacation and go to Florida instead of going to the local park in Brazil? Is that a concern?
No, that's not really a concern because they would have the option to do one or the other. One main reason that they do not attend theme parks in Latin America is because of the lack of theme parks in that area. By establishing a Disney World, Disneyland resort in Brazil, that would be the first one in Latin America, which clearly there is high demand, as exemplified by Hopi Hari, which would be one of our main competitors, and they're not nearly half as big and provide the services that we would. So Latin Americans would have the option of going to Brazil, and that includes all the surrounding countries.
You're not concerned with people going to what's going to be a cheaper park in Brazil and spending less money than going to Disney World? You don't think there will be a big enough number to affect any sort of revenues in Disney World, Florida?
No, that shouldn't be an issue because if we have people attend in Brazil, it doesn't mean that everybody stops going to Florida. So we will still have customers there as well.
Okay, thank you very much.